This episode is brought to you by Audi. The road is calling. Embrace the thrill of the drive with the all-new, fully electric Audi Q6 e-tron. Featuring effortless power, serious acceleration, and advanced Audi tech. It's not just a new EV, it's a new way to experience driving. The all-new, fully electric Audi Q6 e-tron is here. The next chapter of Audi starts now.
Welcome to another episode of The Refresh by Marketecture Media. I'm your host, AdTech God. The Refresh is where we bring you the latest and greatest in advertising news. Don't forget to follow the Marketecture account on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube for more news-related content. Some housekeeping items. We have Miami Lights taking place in Miami, Florida on April 28th in partnership with MadTech and Aperium. If you have not registered, please do. The website is www.adtechgodevents.com. So to the news today, we have James Borow, the Vice President of Product and Engineering at Universal Ads, which is a part of Comcast Corporation, a global media and technology company that connects people to moments and experiences that matter. James, welcome to the pod.
Thank you for having me. As you know, I'm a huge fan, and it's been incredible just to see how much AdTech God has grown over the years. So honored to be here and appreciate you making the time.
Come a long way since the podcast when I was on your podcast. What was that, a year ago?
It is. And I can't wait to see where you take it next. It is very cool.
We're having fun. That's what matters. James, so I'm a huge fan of the SMB being a core focus. It was one of my predictions for 2025, and it is all coming together nicely. It seems like Universal Ads and many other companies in the space are really starting to focus in on making connected television accessible to SMBs. But your news that you released with your partnership with Ramp was really interesting because nobody's really taken that angle, and I see a ton of value to it. Can you give me an idea of what that means, and what does it mean for Universal Ads to be able to make television accessible to so many SMBs?
Yeah, I mean, I think like from a very high level, our goal with Universal Ads is how do we just make TV as easy to buy as an Instagram ad, right? Like almost all of these digitally native businesses and growing businesses are advertising on social, and they're curious about how TV works, but it's pretty intimidating. And so our strategy is to go to where these businesses run their business, right? And Ramp is one of the best places for that. Ramp, if people don't know about it, it's the corporate card for most of these growing businesses. They've got 30,000 customers. They just announced the most recent funding round. They're worth $13 billion. And we want to make sure that businesses that run all their financial automation on Ramp know that Universal Ads is the place where they can actually grow their business. And so that's why the partnership's so important.
You mentioned the importance of, premium video and making that accessible in an easy to use UI for those that, maybe don't have experience with working with overly complicated demand side platforms or buying platforms. Could you tell me what it is you mean by premium video and what type of inventory they'll be able to access? And why is it so much of a game changer for these marketers in the space?
Yeah, so when we talk about premium video, we're talking about like the world's leading publishers when it comes to TV and TV content. So we've already announced our first set of partners, and they include A&E, AMC, DirecTV, Fox, NBC, Paramount, Roku, Univision, Warner Brothers Discovery, Xumo, and more. So these are what people think about when they think about premium video and TV, but they've been really, really hard to access for kind of a normal business. And so again, our kind of first principle is how do we just make this accessible? How do we make it as easy as buying an Instagram ad or a TikTok ad? And so to do that, you have to do a few things. One is you have to go ahead and make the tools look like the tools they've used in the past. Two is you have to help them figure out how do they actually have television quality creative, right? A lot of these people just have vertical video ads. And then three is, again, I think we have to meet them where they are. So we've taken an API first approach to this. We've launched our ads API and marketing API. We're going to be integrated kind of wherever these businesses run their business. I talk about it sort of internally as like a really advertiser's kind of empathy first approach, right? Let's like decrease all the tax on them and just make this easy for them to go ahead and run on TV. And I'd say as part of that, I previously was at Snapchat and I've worked with a lot of the social networks. We all know that TV ads actually make social ads work better. Like the social networks are very aware how performant TV is. I think TV just has been too hard to buy. And so that's what we're really trying to work on.
So historically, television has really been a focus or a medium for massive companies that have large budgets that could either, advertise nationally or locally on their local TV stations. How is this going to be affordable to these smaller, medium businesses? Is there less barriers like you mentioned? Are there budget restrictions? How does it work for them where they may not have $500,000 to spend or $1 million to spend?
Yeah, you can get up and running on Universal Ads for a $500 budget. You can use your credit card, you can use your ramp card, and you'll get automatic ad credits for it. We have integrations with AI creative partners. So if you don't have creative, we can go ahead and get it created for you inside the UI. It's really kind of all of the tax that has been put on sort of I'm going to call it like the Instagram advertiser to get on TV. We're taking that away. And when you start to take that away, you start to see that TV is really performant. Now, TV is different than social. In most cases, you can't click on it. But, I think, there's a mutual friend of ours, Eric Seufert, talks about like the medium is the measurement. And so we're trying to get to a place where let's make this easy to go ahead and buy. And then let's help you go ahead and measure it to actually show that it drives value. And we have some pretty exciting partnerships coming up on that front relatively soon that we're really excited to get out there.
Is it partnerships related to creative production and AI?
Measurement. Yeah, you'll see us.
Okay.
Yeah, you'll see us double down. And I am totally convinced that TV is undervalued in terms of how much it drives sales. And so I think you'll see us do a lot of things to help these advertisers really prove that, right? That we have to help them see that. But I think that TV has an incredible hand to play, and we're excited to play a part in it.
Well, I think it comes down to the old saying, like if a tree falls down in the forest and nobody's there to hear it, did it make a noise or not? The measurement's been a challenge. You have to be able to measure the performance. If you measure it, I think you'll find that it does make a sound and that it does resonate and it does deliver on the value that advertisers are looking for. When it comes to creative production, these smaller businesses may have one person, two people that work in marketing that maybe aren't familiar with creating these 30-second video spots. How is AI playing a role in this? And is it generative AI? Is it just easy to stitch together videos and create the ads? How is it working for you guys?
It's all the above. So because we've taken this API first approach, you'll see us bring in sort of the leading creative AI models into the workflow. So if you want to use generative AI, you can. If you want to use AI to convert your Instagram ad to a TV ad, you can. If you want to start from scratch and use prompting for it, we're going to enable that. So, to me, these things are all table stakes. If you go into Google or Meta or even Amazon's tools and TikTok's tools, this stuff's coming, right? The idea that you're going to put this big of a barrier against what is probably the most impactful thing of TV, which is it's a full screen. It's the biggest screen in your house. It's totally sort of counterproductive. So our goal is to make that as easy as possible. And that's really been the main excuse. When you talk to like a scaling, call it like the Shopify brand who's really active on Instagram and TikTok, and we're saying, why aren't you on TV? They're like, I don't have creative. That's the first thing we hear.
Right.
So we got to get that one off the board.
Definitely. What's this mean as a bigger picture for Universal Ads? Is this, are we finally moving into this era where television advertising is easy and simple and accessible to businesses of all sizes? What's the direction and what's the end goal?
Yes. Yeah, the answer is yes. This is going to be, by the end of this year, I think we're going to make TV advertising as easy as buying an Instagram ad. There's absolutely no reason why it can't be. And then I think we also are going to, help educate the market that TV does really help drive sales. Now, again, it will drive sales because it basically drives incremental sales, right? And that it also makes your other channels more effective. And I think instinctively we all know that. Again, like internally, the thing I talk about with my team a lot is that like in some ways TV is the new second screen, and that's okay. Like we all know we like watch TV and then you kind of buy things on your phone.
Right.
And right now social gets way too much credit for that conversion. Like we can feel how much TV does. It's our job to go prove that. And I think that's what Universal Ads really represents, is like we're going to help prove how performant this is for advertisers.
Awesome. James, thank you so much for being here. Thank you to Universal Ads for having you as my guest. I wish you guys the best of luck and congrats on this new partnership.
Thanks, man. I really appreciate it. And congrats on everything in your world as well.
Thank you. Speak soon.